everyone, Flick Dicks here, episode 3. I'm Steve Brzezinski.
I'm Aaron.
Brian Gluff over here.
He used his last name.
Yay.
Silly man.
I use my last name, and here's the thing, anyone that wants to look up Slasher Hunter knows your last name.
I did run for public office, so.
And that as well. We're here on episode 3. We are done talking about Batman for a while, at least. So I figured something interesting to talk about this week would be more than one movie at once. I think we should talk about the entire Transformers trilogy.
Right. Awesome.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set the clock 15 minutes per movie.
Okay. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because there's so much wrong with all of them. How are we going to...
Okay, 15 minutes. Okay, so first movie, thoughts, go.
I was really excited when they were talking about making a Transformers movie because I like Transformers as a kid. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, like, good. I saw real robots kind of fighting each other, and I was like, that's all I need to ever see with that. And it didn't end there.
Yeah. First movie?
I mean, I liked it. As far as like just coming from being a kid and having watched Transformers, moving into seeing it on live action was really cool. Of course, the robots, CGI. Just in case anyone was confused, not the dudes in suits or anything. But I mean,
what?
Wait, whoa! Wait a second.
My entire opinion of the film is different now.
Are you telling me that wasn't guys who were?
No, sorry.
Holy shit!
Computers.
I thought it was like the Megazord.
But no, I mean, it was good. I mean, it brought to life what I remembered as a kid. Now, I was also 6 when I watched those movies, so the movies were simple. It was robots moving parts
they were shows
all over the place. And then, you know, the teenager in most males came out when Megan Fox walked on the screen, and that got us through that. So it was, you know, the first movie fulfilled a couple, prime desires of most kids. But
see, with the first movie, I was concerned going into it because the trailers didn't show that much, and I was really afraid that it would be like, oh, they're from Japan, not from Cybertron. Fortunately, when the movie came out, they were from Cybertron, but I wasn't a fan of the first movie, and it's because the Transformers didn't show up for an hour. Like, aside from Barricade and Bumblebee, no one else showed up for an hour in a movie called Transformers. While usually I can forgive that in some sense, like in Batman Begins, Batman didn't show up for an hour, but the entire Transformers show didn't really have humans in it at all, so an hour with no Transformers in their movie was a little excessive.
I understand that. I mean, looking back at it
because, like, just to establish, I'm a huge Transformers fan. Like, not I watched it when I was a kid. I still watch the shows. I still collect the toys.
Right. I mean, looking back at it now, I guess I would have said...
Fall of Cybertron, the demo made my dick rock hard.
See, I would have, just looking back, I would have said it would have been nice to kind of open up more with, like, Transformers on Cybertron, but I get how they had to, like...
They did.
But more of, you know what I mean? Like, just like...
Like a 20-minute opening.
More than just,
like Superman, the Superman opening on Krypton. Like, we're not talking about humans. Like, this is not the story about humans. We don't really care about humans. Like, this is the story about Transformers.
Yeah.
And then kind of...
Get to Earth.
Now they get to Earth and proceed. But I mean, just looking back on it, I guess, like he said, it just kind of... It filled that hole of something like... The first time I saw the Ninja Turtles movie, the live-action one as a kid, I'm like, wow, that's cool. Because I was more exposed
well, I mean,
to the
don't get me
cartoon.
wrong. Like, when I first saw it, I was happy with the film because, like you said, it was the primal urge of seeing the Transformer on screen. Now, for me, Megan Fox did nothing for me because I think she looks disgusting. I just feel like if I do this with her skin, I can put that on my bacon and make it greasier.
I'm just saying.
I'd be okay with that because bacon's awesome. Megan Fox.
I'm just saying that.
At the same time, I mean, I gotta stop. Because
also, can that bitch please just touch her lips together? Let's all just touch her lips together.
What's that?
It's good.
Either.
Okay, so I'm just saying, she's hot. Like, I don't. You're crazy. She's not a good actress. She's not intelligent. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, strictly physically looking. When you saw her like leaning over that car in that scene, like that scene was in there for one reason, and it was to get guys.
I understand that.
Like, Oh wow!
Well, that's
No,
why Megan
totally.
Fox is in the entire
That's-
series
right.
because apparently she
Her
doesn't
first-
like money enough, so she quit. But
She
that's
didn't
what she was in the
quit.
first two
Fired.
movies.
She got fired
She-
Compared
It was-
because she had a Jewish producer and she called the guy a
Yeah.
Nazi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
No, she's not my type of girl. She's not my type of girl. All I'm saying is that Megan Fox didn't have anything to do with my enjoyment of the film.
Mhm.
But in retrospect, it's just it's hard for me to watch the movie these days because it's just so. Nothing happens for an hour, and then when the Autobots finally do show up, the only Autobot that does anything is Optimus Prime.
I mean, when we pass up this 15-minute mark to go on to the second one, like, once again, just looking back at it, I can't go down that. I'd rather watch the first one than the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And like, once we get to that second one, like, I just loathe things about it. That first one, I think they did a good job. Like, Sam with Wiki and the glasses or whatever, I guess. I mean,
It was an interesting reason for there to be a human companion to the Transformers.
but then again, like, I just remember seeing the Transformers movie. Like, wasn't it just some dude, right?
Uh-huh.
Just some kid, like, was with the Transformers. I would have bought it.
His name was Spike, yeah.
You didn't have to. I mean, there again, we're talking about them setting up a movie for people who aren't nice. You know what I mean? Like, they have to set up a world of where these Transformers are merging with people. But then, I mean, it also has problems with, like, we talked about in Batman, like, how many people are killed? Just killed in these movies. And, like, the next movie's going to be made. We don't talk about, like, the death toll.
Right.
Well, it's not entertaining, so that's of course why they don't touch on it. And it goes to what you guys are complaining about with the kid. It's that we have to make the film relatable, not justifying it in the
Right.
way, but
No,
it's
absolutely.
why they have to do it.
As a filmmaker, I understand why you need a human character. I just, like I said, my problem is just that there's, especially in the first movie, there's so many human characters. You
Yeah,
got
right.
Sam and Michaela, and
The
they're
parents.
fine. You got the military, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, because G.I. Joe teamed up with Transformers all the fucking time.
Yeah, right.
But then you got the parents,
You got the.
who make me laugh. Don't get me wrong, but don't add much. And then you got the hackers, which do nothing in the
Right.
story at all, aside from saying, "Hey, we got hacked."
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's their role, but they wasted an hour of my fucking time not
Right.
seeing robots fight.
Turturro.
Yeah, Turturro, but I love John Turturro in that
He's
role.
funny.
Mhm.
I mean,
And he's part of Sam and Michaela's story, so that's okay. But there's just so many humans and not that many Transformers. It would be like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie with one turtle and a bunch of military dudes.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, it's like the
Michael Bay, that's your next.
you don't have characters.
Hey, Turtle fans, it's coming up. It's coming up.
I don't know what
canceled
you guys
it.
are talking about.
Did they?
Yeah, they canceled
Are,
it.
are you honest? Okay, because I was just pretending nothing was happening.
Right.
I mean, no.
I was willing to
nothing.
see
I mean,
at least
no.
a trailer
You
before I
wanted to see
hated it.
Taint?
I said a trailer before I
Taint.
see. Anyway, I think a big reason where my problems with the first movie come from is that Michael Bay thought Transformers were stupid when he started the project. And it wasn't until he started shooting and working with a lot of the CG guys who were Transformer fans and learning about the mythology that he was like, oh no, these are fucking cool. He like shot extra scenes
Yeah.
with Transformers for the final product that weren't originally even in the script.
I mean,
And that's for that reason by the movie too. There's so many robots. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But I feel that a big reason for that is just at first, Michael Bay was like, "No, robots are dumb."
well, I mean, it just harkens back to, Hasbro has a deal with this company that's
It's a fucking commercial.
right, and it's like, who can we put in this to make it as big as budget as possible? And they do it, and the guy doesn't know anything about the product.
Yeah.
Transformers.
Well, I mean, every single one of the Transformers is completely one-dimensional characters. I mean, there's nothing more to them beyond we were at war, we're now at war here. Who are we going to fight next?
See, I could argue that the Autobots have characters, but that's only because I already know the characters.
See,
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Just the concept of the film. I mean,
There's
Optimus
nothing.
is the most interesting of all of them, but it's
And
still.
you got Jazz a
I
little
gotta
bit
save
because he's
everybody.
breakdancing and
Right.
stuff. Like he's doing stuff that's different. So at least Jazz is that, and Jazz is my favorite Autobot. I hate that they killed him in the
Yeah.
first fucking movie.
Dead.
Went down like Jazz should go down, absolutely. But I was like, oh. But aside from that, absolutely, Ratchet was just like, hey, I'm a Transformer. Ironhide was like, I'm a Transformer with guns.
Yep.
All right, so let's fast forward to the end of that movie. Is them dumping the Decepticons in the ocean. Okay,
The Laurentian Abyss.
right? And Starscream is still around. He gets away.
He flies to space, yeah.
Okay.
As he always does.
Absolutely.
Why did they dump him in the trench?
The idea was that the water pressure at that depth would prevent anything from getting down there. Now,
'Cause
let's
they
keep
didn't
in
want to-
mind, we just were introduced to this technology.
Right.
We had no idea what this stuff was, so we're just going to dump it somewhere.
And
Well, it's not. I didn't take it as that. I took it as
And there was the temperature issue.
America had been using Megatron's tech to advance
Yeah.
America's technology for decades.
right.
So now that everyone saw these things, we need to dump them to make sure no other country gets this tech.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I took it as.
Yeah, that's a little more practical. I mean, we can't get down there.
Right.
So-
We already learned potentially as much as we can.
Mhm.
We don't want any other country looking at this tech, so they dump it.
But why not leave it in the hands of the Autobots?
In the realm of the film, what at that point the Autobots don't have a ship. What are the Autobots going to do with it?
You're dumping it in a trench.
The better question is why don't they leave the cube sliver with the Autobots? But that's the sequel's problem because in the
Yeah.
first movie there wasn't any cube slivers
Right.
left. But that's more of a question. I wouldn't.
And we have to make another movie, so
Yeah.
that's the other reason.
I don't know. I just don't know what the Autobots would do with Megatron's body.
Put it in Sam's garage. That's going to work out. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and
where we should
let's
put
get
it.
back to that scene real quick. So the Autobots are like tramping around his. No neighbors notice anything?
Fuck that. That scene's hilarious. I don't care about the logic of that scene because
Mhm.
that scene's straight up like a cartoon, which is what Transformers is.
Alrighty.
There's Beast Wars is the best written Transformers series, and there's an entire episode about farting. So there's a lot of slapstick in these giant robots, and I'm fine with because it's slapstick. If it wasn't meant to be slapstick, if it was like a genuine, if the humans see us, the mission is dead, but it was like, whoop, my bad. It was ridiculous. So it's not that big of a deal to me.
Okay.
Well, and take it back to where we started at with this conversation with this film is that we loved it because of what we saw as kids. But that's why it doesn't translate so well for parents for too long or for adults too long is it never goes beyond that. It stops at 12 and it never gets smarter than 12.
Mhm.
And so eventually you just have to either break down and stay in 12-year-old mindset or check out and you go see something else.
That is the problem, though, because there is some really smart Transformer writing. Now, let me say right now, most Transformer series are shit. And that's as a Transformers fan. Here's all of the really, really well-written Transformer shows. Beast Wars. Transformers Animated. Two series in like 20 years. Like, really, and although they did have their own, like, fart episodes, they were really, really well-written, very smartly written, very maturely written, being able to appease to both adults and kids. These movies could have done that, and they seem to have taken more of that mindset. I'm like, whatever, fuck giant robots, shit. Like, no, there was a war there. Oh, I should not include. It isn't a series, but the Transformer video games, the War for Cybertron, and from what I've seen, the Fall for Cybertron, really well written games.
Oh yeah, the first one was excellent.
Yeah, so I would include those as well. It's just that's not a series. But I mean, if you want mature, good stories of Transformers, Beast Wars, Transformers Animated, or those video games, not these fucking movies.
Alright, so I say we move on to the second one.
Because you have more problems with the second one.
I mean, do I have to say anything other than the black robots? Like what?
I don't
twins.
think they were black. I believe they were orange and green.
Well, yeah.
Why did my fucking light die again? Jesus fucking, this light always dies, so I'm gonna tilt this.
Well, I hate you. Like I hate those. Somebody else. I can't even.
Well,
like,
I mean, not even that. It's the wrecking balls hanging below.
Okay, let me reset this fucking timer. So we
he
can
peed on
talk.
somebody.
That's the first movie. The first movie, Bumblebee
Yeah.
peed on Sean Turturro. So do you want to talk about that for 2 minutes?
No, I know. I just.
Okay,
I'm sorry. There's twins in the.
so 13 minutes was spent on the first movie. The next.
More time than was spent on the script. Go.
Okay, so 17 minutes now
Mhm.
is our clock. Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Now I know I'm going to be the minority here because that's my favorite of the three.
I
movies.
can't.
Really?
I
Yep.
want to murder you. Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. Tell us why.
Because it's just fucking robots beating the shit out of each other for 2 hours, and that's all the original show was. There was no, like, seriously, the fucking story of Revenge of the Fallen was so simplistic, so stupid, so straightforward. There was nothing to it. You know what? Looked like a three-parter of the original series to me. That's all it was.
That movie-
So I was totally okay with it.
The movie was so bad, like I purposely went out of my way not to see the third one. in the theaters. I was like, you're not getting any more of my money. Like, you're not getting another dime of my money because I feel like you raped my brain. And that was an atrocity. I just don't. 2 hours worth of.
I mean, I'll give the robot fighting its due because that is what I wanted to see.
He ripped his spine out in that one, right? That was the one he ripped his spine out. Like there's a dog, and like
Bumblebee. It wasn't a dog. That was Rabbit. She's supposed to be a cat, sort of thing. Bumblebee.
Yeah,
there was a bunch of fatalities,
yeah.
Transformer fatalities in that movie.
Yeah. And it was definitely brutal violence. So at least there was that to enjoy. Still, nothing developing story wise beyond just the simple 12-year-old story concept.
And to me, since that was so much of what it was, I was perfectly okay with that because it was just trying to be like a PG-13 version of the G1 show, where there wasn't any of that. But since it was a good enough plot. Like, I followed it well enough. Like, it had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Like, it wasn't a shit plot. It just was, like, there wasn't anything else to it. I liked seeing The Fallen. I liked talking about the original 13 Crimes. There's a lot of little mythology for the Transformer fans. And like I said, the plot was okay. I liked it that Sam had a reason to be hanging out with the Transformers now, because he had all the cube knowledge. I thought that was a nice touch. And I liked most of the Autobots, even though Jolt did nothing. And Sideswipe was like, hey, what's up, I'm Sideswipe. See you at the end of the movie, guys. And all the Decepticons looked exactly the fuck the same, but we finally got Megatron and Starscream yelling at each other. We got a real Devastator, a fucking combiner, which I never thought we'd see in the live-action films. We got Optimus Prime kicking the shit out of 3 Decepticons in the woods, and then becoming Jet Prime, another combiner in a movie that I thought I'd never see. And it was just fun. It was just 2 hours of fun, and it was so much fun that I didn't see that many problems with the movie. Because the fun blinded me.
Have you seen it more than once?
I've seen it like dozens of times. I'm not even kidding. I saw it 4 times in theaters, and whenever I got the Blu-ray, I watched it 3 times the first week, and I don't know how many times I've seen it since. And every time I have the same level of excitement.
I think Aaron and I just had like the same expression.
That's fine. Like I said, I know I'm in the minority, and
no, because I like the movie too, but from that 12-year-old mindset, I don't mean to keep revisiting that same idea, but it's like, okay, giant robots fought. All right, I'm going to watch something else. I want to be challenged when I watch something, and like, I'm going to see Dark Knight Rises twice, and I really don't necessarily know if I want to see it the second time. And I own all 3 movies on Blu-ray, and I've watched them all multiple times. But I have to give it months between each viewing. There's just nothing there. But then again, all those characters he just named, Optimus, Megatron, Starscream, beyond that, the core, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, I know.
You need to start describing them for me to know. Which team was this again?
Sideswipe was the silver card that had the awesome opening, and then disappeared until the very end.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we didn't really touch much on them in the first movie. Like, my wife and I both really enjoyed the Marines guys. The guy from Vegas was the TV show he was from. And those guys, for me, is what made me want to keep watching the series. Because
they were really good
characters.
They were really well written. They were really well written, and they were interesting. Like, the movie could have just been about them and not had Sam and Michaela or the hackers. The sequel could have just been about the Marine dudes.
Yeah, and when they called the telemarketers in the first one, or not telemarketer, the guys in the trying to call collect. I mean, just little things like that is what I appreciated more, because that was that tidbit of adult humor that's like, those people. Well, I just swore. I don't know if we can swear.
Oh, you can't swear on YouTube.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Why
explicit tag or something? I don't. I'm just asking.
He's jack off.
Oh, that is true.
You're worried about him. I'm not. No.
I mean, you haven't major problems with the movie, so go.
The 2 twins. Please, just defend them. Or the balls.
Those people. Exist in real world.
Whoa. Those people. Okay. So those
stupid, uneducated people exist.
Yep.
And the twins made me laugh.
If that's all you need, that's all. That's it. Okay. I mean,
there have been throughout Transformers history. There's been a lot of stereotyped Transformers.
All I'm saying is Richard Pryor made me laugh in Superman 3. It doesn't make it a good movie.
I'm not arguing Revenge of the Fallen is a good movie. I even said in the other episode, I will never argue that Revenge of the Fallen is a good movie. I will never argue that. Just, I like it a lot.
Okay. Okay.
There was nothing in that movie at all that you liked. I mean, just
Other than, I mean, like...
There's 10 minutes left because you made me kick the
Right.
time, so you better
I
start
mean, you gotta
bitching about
bitch
the
more
movie.
because I mean, he's
I'm just
fanboy. I'm like, yeah, it was okay. I liked it. You hate it.
I just don't...
You talked for 2 hours about Batman, motherfucker.
I know, I'm just trying to think of all, like... that's the one where he dies, right? And they bring
Which
in...
one?
The
Optimus.
Optimus
Yeah.
dies.
He gets killed.
Yep, and they
Yeah,
bring in
it's
and
the-
it crumbles.
Sure.
And
The
then
Matrix of Leadership, yeah.
doesn't Sam die too?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then
Right.
yeah.
When he's getting the Matrix to
Yeah.
Optimus.
Yep. And
Since he
Optimus-
sacrifices himself,
Right.
it shows that he is a leader, and since he is a leader,
And
he's
brought back
worthy of
the
the
Prime.
Matrix.
Yeah.
The Primes.
Oh, the Prime just brought him back.
He went to Robot Heaven.
Yeah, he went to Robot.
I don't remember that.
You
Then
guys
again,
wanna-
they helped build the pyramids, and I'm all for that. I mean, it was
that's all
aliens,
they-
so.
so you guys want to go back to that? Because they melted themselves to block that, right? That's how they sealed it.
Yeah.
How did that get open again?
Bumblebee shot it.
Bumblebee shot it.
Yeah,
So
Bumblebee.
those people, the Prime, sacrificed themselves to protect that. But then one Transformer shot it open. Not the Decepticons, because why didn't they shoot it open?
They didn't know where it was.
They didn't know where it was. So then Bumblebee shoots it open. Who goes and gets the thing out of there?
Sam.
Sam does.
Yeah.
Comes
Because they're
out.
small enough to fit in the
Right,
movie, yeah.
and then... Interesting. And then a human gets saved by the
Robot guys.
Primes in Robot Heaven.
Yeah. You can argue
We're
that the
okay
Matrix
with
of
this.
Leadership brought him back, because it clearly has the capability of bringing a soul back from the dead.
Obviously.
Mhm.
Because that was explained very well in the movie.
Sam came back, Optimus came back. I mean,
mean,
that's enough for you to guess.
Yeah.
2 dead people came back thanks to this thing. I think that thing brings back dead people.
People, we're using that term very loosely.
Whoa, whoa, you
I'm
racist!
just saying. I'm just saying, he's a machine.
They're part organic and they have souls. So, I mean, you can argue sentient. I mean, I'm not saying human, I'm saying people
Right.
as a sentient term.
So, did they ever use that power to bring humans back to all the people
No.
that died?
No.
What about all the soldiers that died?
No.
not working.
Not entertaining.
No.
And they also didn't fix Bumblebee's voice box.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't understand.
That was stupid.
Why?
That's a
that-
fucking...
I mean, granted, in the first film, it was kind of cool. Going in the second movie, it's like, talk.
Here's why.
Say, you're a robot. Fix it.
Outside of the realm of the film, here's why the writers came out with that for the first movie, liked it so much that they didn't want to get rid of it.
Mm.
That's all it is. But in the realm of the movie, it's getting fucking annoying now. Can we just
Yeah.
have Bumblebee talk?
And this is also the movie where Megan has a pet Transformer who was a
Wheelie.
Decepticon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And because she trained this one,
Yeah.
he's no longer bad.
Well, it wasn't so much that she was training it; it's that when he found out that Jetfire changed sides, he was like, "Whoa, you can change sides." Oh, well, in that case, I'm not going to be Decepticon either. They are super mean to me.
Okay. I forgot about that. You're
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Don't get me wrong, this movie has problems. I only defend the ones that I feel are worth defending.
All right.
That have legitimate reasons, that's all.
And at the end of this one, what happens to Megatron again?
Megatron gets fucked up,
Right.
and it's amazing.
And like Starscream
He
pulls-
runs away.
But don't they fly away
Yes, they fly away.
together? 'Cause
Together.
He pulls
He and
him away. Yeah.
Starscream's just like, hey, Master, we should get the fuck out of here.
Right,
'Cause
right.
look at him, he's covered in jets and all these guns and shit.
Yeah, and it, like,
and Megatron's like, yep, bye.
Yeah, Megatron's like jaws all messed up and stuff.
Such a great... I get annoyed when slow motion's used too much, but that scene of the slow motion Megatron's face getting blasted is the best slow motion I've ever seen.
See,
Because he twists his hands around, shoots him in the face, then cuts just slow motion. Bro, Jesus Christ.
I wish they would use slow motion a little bit more, actually, because I feel like a lot of the maybe in the first one, like,
Especially the first one. I
like
couldn't
I'm
see
just
what the fuck
like,
was
wait,
happening.
what? Just okay, he's dead.
And see, I'm the opposite. I'll defend that to Atlanta. If you're taking a car, turning into a giant robot, it's gonna be fucking complicated. It's not gonna be the tires turn once and then there's his
Right, but we
legs
mean
and
the
then.
fight.
I'm talking about the fight. So,
Oh,
like when they're
I thought you were
fighting
talking about
each
the
other.
transformation.
No,
No,
when they're
transformation
fighting.
is cool.
I thought
Yeah.
everyone was complaining about those. And I was just sitting there watching, like, how did you expect it to happen?
I like the trend.
I mean,
I was talking about like in the first movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the second
When
movie.
Optimus
they
is
fight
fighting Bone
so
Crusher
Oh, yeah.
under the highway,
I know
it's
what
like,
you're talking about there. Yeah.
it's like whose limb is whose?
Right.
Like, I know the Transformers, and I
It's
couldn't
metal
tell what
about it.
happens in
Yeah.
that fight.
No, that was true.
I just-
it got complicated fast.
Like, I wish the designs were
Are we gonna skip
varied
over the balls? Too?
and had brighter colors.
what we talked about, like.
Now, my problem with the balls is that
They exist.
no,
Did they
I'd
put
be
them in a
no.
movie?
Here's the thing: A, everyone talks about the balls, but it's seriously like a 5-second throwaway joke that you can forget about. But here's my problem. My problem with the balls is totally different. None of those vehicles had wrecking balls. Not even the crane.
Oh,
Where did they come from? Where did the balls come
Storage.
from? Clearly.
I mean,
like, that's my fucking
wild
problem
about
with the balls.
yeah.
Like, if the crane had wrecking balls, it'd be like, okay, they had to go.
That's your
kinda funny.
problem? Wait a second. Like, not the fact that the balls existed, but that if they were going to put them in there, they should have had two. Okay.
I mean, I just kind of go back to the same thing. It's just, it's a kids' movie. Dick jokes are funny. Pee jokes are funny. Fart jokes are funny. I mean, kids love that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't laugh at it. I didn't like the joke. It's just, I was like, oh, yeah. Wait, where'd they come from? Where the fuck did they come from, Michael Bay?
Michael Bay had it.
Clearly.
Right. Sam got it when he was talking.
Also, there's like way more Constructicons that make Devastator than there are Constructicons.
Yeah.
There's like 2 bulldozer arms. There's a bulldozer arm plus the crane arm. Then you got like 2. I forget because they mixed up the names. The dump truck
I was
one.
going to ask the stupid question of why they're there seems to be like a lot more Decepticons. Like
That's another one of my problems. With the
but
movie.
don't they make them?
That's not why there's so many.
Yeah.
Just more show up.
It's always that way. There's always more villains than heroes.
But even then, my biggest problem with the series is that there's like 5 fucking Autobots in the entire fucking universe,
Right.
and like hundreds of Decepticons. Like, can we just get more Autobots? We don't have to give them all names. We don't have to give them all characterizations. Just say that there's an Autobot city, like the show had,
Right.
and that's how the Autobots are able to fight a fucking army.
Right. Because it seemed like they just kept coming, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of them.
where did they all go? Like, have they all been here this whole time?
Yeah, they don't address that at all.
Is that in the first movie or the second one where they make things into Transformers?
That's the
It's when they get exposed to
the end of the
cubes,
first one.
They
End
can
of the
get
first
transformed.
one.
But when the cube
Gets
disappears,
destroyed,
then
yeah.
that's.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, like
It's
they don't
always
address
solved.
they don't address the reproduction of Transformers in the films, the different mythologies of Transformers, because there's different universes like DC or Marvel have, like animated is a different universe from
Yeah.
G1. The different universes have different modes of reproduction.
Okay.
So, and since they don't address that in the movies, aside from showing young Decepticons,
So they don't
into-
necessarily need balls to reproduce.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
only if the balls come from somewhere.
All right. So
We
that
talked
movie
way too
made
much
me
about
so
Mickey
mad
Mouse.
that I didn't see the third one in the theaters. I just recently saw it on Netflix because it was on. I was like, well, I guess I'll watch this now.
Okay. Okay, so do you want to start moving on to the third one, or is there anything else we want to say about the second one? Because we got like 3 more minutes on the second one.
I mean, for me, it's the same verdict as the first movie. I mean, it was great from that. I keep saying this 12-year-old mindset, and I'm rolling on Blu-ray like with the first one. So I mean, I'll watch it again. I'm sure one day again. But God, I don't want to talk about the third movie.
I can't wait to hear you talk about the third movie.
Oh, you can't wait to hear me talk
Yeah.
about the third movie?
Mhm.
What do you think my opinion of the third movie will be?
I don't think you liked it.
Cinematic
but
gold.
I don't. I just want to hear what your opinion is because I saw that like sitting right here where I'm sitting now, and like I was just like I had no desire to see the end of this movie. Like I'm sitting here watching, I'm like, I'd rather watch anything else right now because it was just. I've seen it. Like by the third time I've seen it, like I don't need to see the robots just punch each other because like that 12-year-old need has been fulfilled.
Mhm.
I want to see something new. And that's what like other movie franchises I think have done right or wrong is that by the third time it's either we've seen it all too many times or you found new and interesting ways to engage us with those
Okay,
characters.
so let's start talking about Transformers Dark of the Moon. Stupid fucking name.
Was it Dark Side of the Moon? Or was it
Nope.
just
Nope.
Dark of the Moon.
I think just instinctively my brain thinks, okay,
Dark
it's Dark
Side
Side
of
of the
the
Moon
Moon,
because
yeah.
that's what it would actually be because there's no lights on it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not a big fan of Dark of the Moon. It's my least favorite of the 3.
Mhm.
And you know what? I don't want to say it's my least favorite of the 3 because it's hard for me to watch the first one. I think I need to rewatch all 3 back to back to back again. I might say that it's potentially all around the best made, like writing wise and like cinematography wise and effects wise, but it's just there's so much disappointment and I didn't care what happened in it.
Yeah.
Like logically I'm like, okay, this has a better storyline. Logically this has a human villain to relate to, this has the Decepticons taking over the world, which has that apocalypse feel that a lot of people like. You know, logically it's a better story than the second one. and because of the bullshit hacker pointless plot in the first one, I'd say it's a better script than the first movie as well.
I like to revisit the fact that you said there was a human villain.
Here's what I'm left with. I just listened to everything you said, and I'm just sitting here trying to think of what's this movie about beyond Transformers.
Right.
I mean, I have no idea what plot you're speaking of. I remember the giant snake dragon thing, or was that Avengers, or was it the same monster? And they just copy paste the CGI. I'm not really sure, but that's about all I remember in that movie. That's it.
That's
I
fine.
mean, it's not really even some lasting impressions. So I'm not saying it's good or bad because it's not memorable.
The fact that there's a human villain is enough.
Who's the human villain?
The guy that was Sam's new girlfriend's boss was working with the Decepticons.
McDreamy.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I like this character.
Yeah, there's a new chick in this one.
The guy that plays McDreamy and come on,
What are you talking about?
the show that
Oh, that show!
yeah, the show on ABC about hospitals. What's it called?
I don't know.
I don't
anything
watch
about
TV. Yeah, exactly, see? Yeah, I don't
I'm
watch
just
it
thinking
either.
it's Crows, but
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy, okay.
The guy that's in all those 80s movies that plays the geek. That was one of us, and then now he's, McDreamy or whatever.
Right.
Can't Buy Me Love, Lover Boy, where he played the pizza guy that was like a pimp. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? What's his name?
I don't know his
Who
name.
cares? But he was the bad guy. And I was just sitting there going, why do you need a human bad guy? Like, there's big, giant robot bad guy.
Like, they could have just given the Decepticons more time to... I mean, humanizing is the incorrect word because the robots, but that type of characterization.
Right.
Like, give them more time to talk and interact. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, as a Transformers fan, the third movie was just a bunch of disappointments.
Can we
I
also...
mean, were they just trying to be too clever? Because, I mean, it's that whole self-destructive human thing. Because that was when the American government turned on the Autobots all of a sudden, right? And
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah.
these are still giant fucking alien robots. Why would you at all be playing games with these things?
Right!
Right!
I mean,
Right!
they just wrecked, like, cities.
Right.
And, like you're saying, killing people, not even on purpose.
Right.
And now they're going to try to do it on, well,
Yes,
the
let's-
Autobots. And,
Let's assume that... Let's replace the Decepticons with Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's say that there's a team of people in America that used to work for Al-Qaeda, but now are our best line of defense against Al-Qaeda.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, Al-Qaeda blows something up and says, we will keep blowing stuff up unless you get rid of that team, and then we'll leave you alone forever. And in what world does America say, you got it, Al-Qaeda?
No problem. And it goes back, I mean, it defies so many laws. Like, okay, so he's dating this new girl because...
And I do have to say, I think that's great.
Okay.
Like, I know it was done because
It's a healthy
she got
relationship.
she got fired,
Yeah.
but I liked the writing dynamic of saying, like, it was like a nice, mature moment of, like, not all relationships work out. They weren't going to love each other forever. They met in fucking high school, and she's an actual better match for him. So I just want to say I really liked the way she was written in the movie.
Right, but what I didn't like was the fact that here's Sam Witwicky, who has a secret Purple Heart from the President of the United States, and he can't get a job. Like, anywhere.
Anywhere.
He's graduated from college.
Yep.
Which he
Free
went,
college.
Right. You're telling me the government can't get him anything?
Also-
Nothing? Nowhere?
Also, where did all that Allspark brain knowledge go? Because he got all that in the second film,
Yeah.
And
and they were like, oh, the Allspark just carries knowledge and passes it on.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Like, he should have still been a super genius, and he
Yeah.
wasn't.
And, like, we actually saw him going on job interviews.
Yeah.
Like, in a Transformers movie, I saw him go on more than one job
More than
interview.
one job interview.
Like, I got it. They're not hiring.
Yeah,
I
it was a
don't
big
need-
waste of
I
time.
mean, the economy
Sam
sucks,
Witwicky-
we all know, but I mean...
yeah, the economy's bad, but he is driving a yellow his car is Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Sell it. If you're not that big of a problem, sell the goddamn car. Like, you can sell. And then he's working on another car because he can't work with the... Why? I don't understand.
It's a bunch of wasted fucking time.
Right, just, they're Autobots fighting Decepticons.
Yeah.
Boom. He works for the government now.
Yeah.
And, like,
Some
you give him a
liaison
tough
between the
time.
robots.
Like, I know you don't like the
That's
second film at all, but, like, the first act moved a lot faster than the
Yes.
third movie did. Like, they got to what was important a lot fucking faster. The third movie, I was just like, what's happening?
I mean, like I said, Aragon, I don't care. At some point, I was actively rooting against Sam.
You see, for me, it's the opposite, because although I was really annoyed with all the bullshit in the first act with Sam was my favorite in this movie because he just didn't give a shit. Like, all of his Nicolas Cage freak-out moments made me burst up laughing every time. I don't know if they were supposed to be funny, but goddamn, they made me laugh. Because it was totally Nicolas Cage.
I'm just ready for I guess it's the same predicament that you talked about with Batman last episode. I'm ready for a different take.
We'll get to that in a minute.
No, I'm talking about Transformers.
Yeah, I know. We got 10 minutes to talk about this movie.
I mean, it's not
well, then let me talk more about my problems with the movie.
Okay.
Like I said, it took 3 movies to get a scene of Soundwave, Starscream, and Megatron to talk to each other. 3 movies for the 3 lead Decepticons to talk to each other. Lead Decepticons in every fucking series. 3 movies for them to just finally sit down and scheme.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. Shockwave, who has story-wise been the biggest, baddest Decepticon ever, shows up at the very beginning, kicks a bunch of ass, looks fucking awesome, disappears to the end of the movie and comes back and gets shot in the eye by a sniper. That's Shockwave's big fucking part. Finally, an Autobot not Optimus Prime gets to kick ass. They give Ironhide an amazing scene where he kicks Decepticon ass, only for him to immediately die, and no one fucking cares.
Right.
No one cares. This is Optimus's best friend for, like, millions of years. Like, no exaggeration. Like, Transformers are millions and millions of years old. Doesn't care. Doesn't refer to it. Sentinel Prime was awesome. I liked the idea that he portrayed the Autobots, and Leonard Nimoy did a really good job voicing him.
Yeah.
But...
Well, it's sad to be a little bit that Leonard Nimoy was in it.
Well, he was in the original Transformers movie, the animated one. He voiced Galvatron, so it was cool for Leonard Nimoy to be associated with Transformers in a different way. Also, he quoted Star Trek, "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few," which was hilarious. Only me and one other guy in the theater laughed, though. I don't think anyone else understood the humor of that. It was just like the 3rd movie, and this is potentially the last one in this like canon. You know, potentially. I don't know. And there will definitely be another Transformers movie. I just don't know where they're going to go.
Pretty sure. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff floating around the internet about them doing stuff. So
yeah, but
I'm sure we're going to see another one. I mean,
that's fine.
Look how much money it made.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's infinite money.
Stopping.
I just don't know if it'll be the same canon for sure.
Yeah.
But it's potentially, at least at the time, they were saying it's, you know, Bay's last one in this story, the end of the trilogy. Starscream still has no Seekers. The Wreckers are in the movie, and I'm sure you guys don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so let me explain.
No idea.
I'm remembering the movies you're talking, so I mean...
in Transformers, the Wreckers are a group of Autobots that are batshit crazy. Like, they're good guys that are so crazy that there's a suicide mission, Optimus says, "Hey, Wreckers, go do that," and they fucking do it. Like, they kill a lot of Decepticons for fun.
Right.
So they're in the movie, and they've been releasing screenshots of the Wreckers for months before the movie even gets a trailer, and they're the NASCAR cars. And even when in car mode, they're covered in fucking guns.
Right.
So as a Transformers fan, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be so awesome. And for the movie, they do nothing. They do nothing. They do nothing. I mean, they make an off statement of the Wreckers are so fucking crazy. We just keep them over here and don't let them see combat. I'm like, okay, you don't want enough. You don't want casualties or anything.
Right.
So then the war's happening, and the Wreckers show up to the war, and they rip one Decepticon apart. Very Wreckers, but they don't do much. We finally get to the point where all the Autobots are backed into a corner by Shockwave and his giant pets and like other cons. And Optimus says, "Wreckers, we need a distraction." And I'm like, I'm doing this in the fucking theater. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so awesome. This is gonna be so awesome. And then it's the Wreckers driving away.
Yep.
And that's the distraction. I'm like, it's like you don't know what these characters are. Like,
it's like they don't know what the characters are. I'm pretty sure somebody said that a couple minutes ago. Okay, go ahead, moving on.
It's just, like, it was just a big waste of potential. Like, it could have been the best movie. Like, I mean, it had some of the best writing. It potentially could have been the best script. It could potentially have been, hands down, the best movie, and it was just a lot of nothing.
So you did this, and then it was like...
It got went flaccid.
Yeah, it just done.
Yeah, it's still, and it was like, still, only Optimus is kicking ass. Optimus and Bumblebee. Optimus and Bumblebee. Like, there's other fucking Autobots. And once again, Michael Bay changed the names of Autobots at the last minute for no reason.
Yeah, but in the credits, they're not.
No, in the credits, they're both names.
Yeah.
Because, do you remember the red Autobot car? He had blade arms. He looked fucking awesome. He was my favorite Autobot design of all the movies. In Transformers mythology, his name is Mirage. Much like Jazz, he picks stylish cars. He loves to go fast. His name is Mirage. In the movie, his name is Dino.
That makes sense.
In the video game, it's Mirage. And all the toys, it was Mirage. And in the end credits, it's Mirage/Dino. In the movie, it's Dino. And then the scientist Autobot, if you remember him at all, the one that gave Sam the weapons, That's fine.
Yeah.
It's very okay. In the Transformers
I'm wondering
mythology,
if I actually saw this movie at this point.
in the Transformers mythology, that's Wheeljack. You know, he's a really cool character. A lot of fans care about Wheeljack. In the movie, his name is Q. Q-U-E.
Because he gives guns.
Apparently.
Like Q from Bond.
Same thing.
Okay.
And all of the things, his name's been Wheeljack, and then in the movie it's Q, and everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
And it's weird, because you think Michael Bay would have learned his lesson, because in the first movie, he renamed the tank Brawl to Devastator, even though there's another Decepticon named Devastator.
Yeah.
And when asked about it, he was just like, I thought it was a better sounding name. But in the second movie, they still named Devastator, which is fun. You know, I'm fine with the director being like, yeah, I kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Because even in the interviews in the first movie on the DVD, he was like, yeah, at first I thought Transformers were dumb, but then I realized they were awesome. I'm like, good for you, Michael Bay. At least you can admit that.
Is that before or after the script stuff?
That was before. That was right after the first movie. But, so, he's changing names. Cool characters aren't doing cool things. Still no fucking Seekers. Still fucking nothing.
Still millions of innocent people dying. I like to point out, like, all those cars that those people were in when they're fighting them, dead. They're dead. No one cares. Like, I get it.
People died in
I
this
understand that it's entertainment, and I get all that.
Yeah, I mean,
but
to be fair, in ID4, we didn't learn about every family.
Right. But mentioning of ID4, I know they're making a sequel. My immediate question is, there's millions of people dead. What are you going to make a sequel about?
If it's like the book, it might be cool, because the book was about all those ships that crashed. Not all the aliens died on all the ships, so it's going to be a ground war now.
Oh.
So it's going to be kind of like Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, basically.
So the world's over, but we're still fighting.
ID forever. And then Jim Carrey can be in it and play the alien. Batman Forever.
Never mind, I can't make that joke on the TV or the internet.
On the TV.
Or the internet.
On the television.
What my punishment should be, what that guy's punishment should be, not the death penalty, but he should have to watch Batman and Robin on a continuous loop in a jail.
But that movie's so good.
Yeah, okay. That's one of the movies we should.
No, I want us to, in another 5 episodes, I want us to do those 4 Batman movies. The 2 Burton ones, Forever, and Batman and Robin.
Anyway.
Here's my controversial stance. I think Batman and Robin is better than Batman Returns.
I hated all of them.
That's fine.
I mean,
I rewatched all of them on Blu-ray the other day, and I was just like, man.
And that's my problem. I just watched
Let's not talk about Batman. Transformers! Okay, so yeah, that's all my fucking problems with the movie. It's just a bunch, and Megatron did nothing in the movie, and I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea that Sentinel Prime was like, you go fuck yourself, Megatron. I could kick your ass, and Megatron's like, I guess. And then gets pissed off by a woman. Like, I really like the scene. Like, a lot of people say that scene's dumb because Megatron should have killed her, but it was like, no, she's right, I'm gonna go kick his ass. And then fucking Prime kills him like a murderer, and then kills Sentinel Prime, which is great. Since you don't remember the movie.
I mean, I'm just saying. I remember.
In the original Transformers animated film, in a very similar scene, Megatron's pretty much beaten and is begging Prime for forgiveness, and Prime pauses, which enables Megatron to shoot Prime, killing him.
Okay.
In Transformers Dark of the Moon, Sentinel Prime is pretty much beaten, begging Optimus for forgiveness, and Optimus cuts his head open with his axe immediately, saying, like, I'm not going to let you live.
Right.
So, like, as a Transformers fan, I was like, oh, yeah, they basically, Optimus learned from his mistake. Right. It was a great scene. It was just so rushed and stuff, and now they're surrounded by all of this destruction, and they're like, yep, that's that. Like, there's a lot of issues that I would like addressed here. Like, is the U.S. government going to talk to the Autobots at all after, like, being okay with sending them off planet? There's hundreds of Decepticons on Earth right now because the pillars were working.
Right.
Teleporting all these Decepticons. There are hundreds of Decepticons, still only like 4 Autobots, where the fuck low number there is. What happened to the twins?
He made a phone call.
I did. The NAACP said, listen, I don't know what you're thinking is going on, but those people gotta go. Like, it was just, never mind, we're gonna go back to that. The gold tooth. Yeah. Okay, so they're cars. Where'd the gold tooth come from? Why do they have teeth? And none of the other Transformers have teeth.
Because that goes back to just Transformers having those bullshit characteristics. Sentinel Prime has facial hair. You know, like, I mean, just some Transformers have human characteristics to differentiate them from other robots.
Yeah, like gold teeth.
Yeah, they looked on the internet like they did in the first movie, and they saw ghetto culture and was just like, we want to be like that.
Yep.
Also, to be fair, in like every single like backstory on those characters, like on the toys and the video games and stuff, all the other Autobots hate them because they're stupid.
Right.
And they can't perform any mission correctly.
Right.
Originally, they were supposed to be a combiner.
Oh, to combine into one.
Yeah, because that, like, one of their, if you notice, their one, I forget which one is Skids and which one is Mudflap, because the movies do such a great job of isolating characters.
Yeah.
But one of them has a really big left arm and a little right arm, the other one has a really big right arm and a little left arm. The idea is they're supposed to combine in the middle. Hey, we actually fully talked about one movie.
Nice.
Okay, so we got about 10 minutes.
I can't come up with 10 more minutes about Transformers.
Well, no, what do you think is going to happen to the franchise from here? Do you think they're going to go back to Michael Bay?
Yep.
Do you think they're going to reboot it? What do you think?
I think they're going to keep printing money.
Well, I mean, either way, I think this franchise prints money. I think they can do whatever they want, and at least the very next movie is going to make a bunch of money.
I think you'll see Michael Bay make another movie, and I mean, I know I'm going to regret saying this, but like Shia LaBeouf, he was everywhere for a while. I don't name a movie he's in.
He's doing a lot of smaller stuff now. Like, I want to say, I actually respect Shia LaBeouf a lot because, like, he does a lot of little cool things. I don't know if you know about this, but he made a comic book. And, like, he's famous. Like, he's a celebrity. He could have gone to Marvel, DC, even Image, and been like, hey, here's my book. You should print this. And they probably would have because he's a celebrity. He bought a small press booth at Chicago Comic-Con and sold his comic one-on-one with people.
Yeah.
Like, he paid $150 or $250, whatever Chicago Comic-Con is, just to have a booth and sell his book.
Was he drunk when he did it?
Apparently not.
Okay.
Like
I know he drinks and drives a lot. But he doesn't drink and sell comic books.
So it could be less, oh, he's not getting any roles, and more just like, he doesn't want any big roles right now.
Except for Transformers and Indiana Jones.
Well, no, I mean, what I'm saying is that he might be taking a break after the third movie.
I don't think so. I think it's more kind of, I mean, it's just my opinion, but I think it's more kind of forced upon him that people were getting Shia LaBeoufed out. Like, he was in all these movies.
That's true. I mean, they were pushing him so much.
And then he just kind of faded into oblivion.
What do you think is going to move forward with the franchise?
I mean, I think they're probably done with this version of Transformers. I mean, it's going to be the Spider-Man kind of situation. You know, here in the next 5 years, we'll see something new in the same direction come out. Probably a different director. The only reason I could see Michael Bay or even Shia LaBeouf returning is if they run out of money or they just are not successful in everything else they do. I mean, if they're making money-making films elsewhere, why come back to this money-making franchise? And they probably neither of them actually need money at this point. I got to imagine both of them had decent incomes coming out of these three films.
What Michael Bay did with this was actually, Darth Moon wasn't supposed to come out for another year. He wanted to make his own small movie.
Yeah.
But because of how many, he literally, and this could be total bullshit and a lie, but even if it is, it's a good lie. He said, the economy had been shit. I wanted to give a lot of people a job, so I agreed to do Dark of the Moon faster.
Yeah.
So it seems less like Michael Bay needs the money and just he was doing the movie to do the movie.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll keep doing it. My hope is the next one just kind of advances it to... It's what we as parents love about Pixar, is that you can sit down and watch one of their films, and it appeals to my 3-year-old sitting next to me, and then I can sit there and actually enjoy it on a whole different level.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I hope that they bring to the next franchise, is that all the passion that you're hearing talk about as a kid, I can sit there and enjoy as an adult too, and actually have fun with the humor. But I mean, whether that'll happen and they'll just want to make movies that make movies, I mean, that's the entertainment industry these days. I'm sorry, not movies that make movies, movies that make money. That's the entertainment industry these days. If it's not a surefire win to make bukus of money, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
this will, I mean.
I'm not sure, honestly, what they'll do with the franchise. I think it can go both ways. Now, if they stay in this canon, I would like to see them fast forward like 25 years and have it be about Sam's son. Like, have his son be Spike, which was the name of Spike Witwicky from the original series. And just have it be about him who's hanging out with the Autobots for whatever the fuck reason, and we just fast forward 25 years, because you still have Unicron, Galvatron, you have a bunch...
There's other Trons you don't know about.
There's a bunch of major Decepticon villains that we haven't touched upon at all, which would be cool to see. The Insecticons, the Combaticons, the Dinobots, absolutely. So, I mean, there's a lot of things they could still do in this canon. That being said, I'd rather see a different style. I'd rather see a different director. Like, Like, I kind of like the look of these Transformers. I like how mechanical and stuff they are. I'm done with that, you know, especially since I got the War of Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron game that show a gritty Transformers where they look different and like Transformers and not like a bunch of gears with some plates of armor put on them that look like one shot would destroy them completely.
I just don't see how in this day and age, like, Spider-Man did it. When was Spider-Man 3 out?
2007?
Maybe.
So we're talking about like a 5-year
I
difference.
mean, it was not long. It was 5 or 6
It was
years.
after I was out of high school, for sure.
So, I mean, we're talking about a 5-year... I mean, with Transformers and its success, do you think that it has eclipsed itself yet? Because, like, I feel like Spider-Man went from, like, being this big thing to by the time Spider-Man 3 came out, it was kind of like, okay, people were done with it. And, like, it was okay for it to reset. All those reasons behind the scenes, you know, Marvel getting the company and the other company wanted to keep it, I get it. But it just seemed like Spider-Man wasn't as big as it used to be. And to me, I don't think Transformers has eclipsed itself yet. They're like, every time a Transformer movie comes out, there's enough people that are excited that they're not going to want to completely reset that universe yet. That just...
It's possible to argue that since people are so pumped for the Transformers that they could do whatever they want with the franchise and people would still be excited for it.
I mean, I don't see them wanting to restart that series already. Like, even with Superman Returns, they didn't want to... I mean, the last time a Superman movie had been made was the 90s, early 90s, the 80s.
Right,
so
right. Superman 4, the best Superman movie.
Right. They didn't want to go back to retell his origin story. So, I mean, I know they are now. I get it. I understand that. But I just think that with Transformers' success, I don't think they're going to want to reset as soon as we're talking about. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, usually I'm good at guessing that, but I have no idea. Like, it really can go either way. And both ways make sense, so that's why I don't know.
You could... I'm sorry. I mean...
Actually, you've talked enough. It's Brad's turn.
I would just lean towards them starting it over because it just the entertainment business is about money, and I know we've talked about that a couple times so far. But I mean,
especially because
we do all new action figures. I mean, if you continue the same
They'll
universe, I know they'll release the new version of Megatron, but then that new version of Megatron will look just a little bit different than the third film and a little bit different from the second film. Now they could go in a completely different direction.
Well, I see. Opposite. That's more likely why they wouldn't reboot it, because Hasbro loves to use the same molds to sell the same toy with different colors. And that's coming from a toy collector. Fuck Hasbro. Seriously, fuck you, Hasbro, with your fucking Comic-Con bullshit.
Why do you buy them?
Because I love Transformers so much.
The
commercials work on me! Especially because, like you said, resetting it, they killed Megatron, and like as a fan, they could bring it back as Galvatron, but they killed Starscream. They killed all these main con characters, which they did in the original series.
I'm going to take your word for it, because I still don't remember.
Whatever. They killed a lot of the main Decepticons, which they did in the original series, and they continued without those characters, but for mainstream audiences, a lot of people know who Megatron and Starscream are. A lot of people know who Soundwave is, for no other reason his voice and the fact that he has little birds and stuff coming out of his chest. Like, people recognize those villains. So to continue the franchise without those villains, even if you have Unicron, who's a planet-sized Transformer, and something batshit awesome like that, it's going to be harder for mainstream audiences to be like, oh yeah, Unicron, Unicorn, I don't know. So I think it's going to be harder to continue, but possible.
They made 3 other movies without you knowing who the Autobots' names were. I mean, you got Megatron, you got Optimus Prime, you got Jazz, and you got... I'm running out, like, you know what I mean? Like,
they should have been more memorable, which is my problem with the first movie. They should have been in more of the movie. The movie should have been about them, and it was about Sam.
Right, so if you bring in
That's really the problem. Like, the movie should have been about the Transformers with a human sidekick for the relation, and instead it was about humans with Transformers showing up guest starring.
So then that kind of said, if they were to continue in the same universe, would you be happier with them leaving Earth entirely? And just not having...
It's hard to do that, though. Like, I would love, like, as a Transformers fan, I would love for the next movie to be a reboot that's about the war on Cybertron and have no humans. That would be awesome. Would that sell to mainstream audiences? Maybe. Because there's still giant robots fighting, you still got explosions, and I feel that you could humanize the Transformers enough that people can connect with the Transformers as opposed to a human.
Yeah.
That being said, it's a hard sell to investors to just be like, yeah, it's going to be all robots. So I don't think that can happen.
Because, I mean, I'm thinking now, like, I can't think of one movie. What was the last movie made without a human? Like...
yeah, that's the thing.
I mean,
Like, I mean,
Avatar,
to be fair, Wall-E probably could have continued the entire movie without introducing the humans. But there's not that many movies that can do that.
I mean, even Avatar, the humans are the villain, and you know, so
and the connector and protagonist.
Right.
Yeah. If it was continuing the same thing, like I said, I would like to fast forward 25 years and just have Spike be a side character. You know, Sam's son just be a side character, and the movie to be about the Autobots fighting fucking Unicron or whatever the threat is.
Well, I mean,
and then Bill finish that space bridge so they can actually go between Earth and Cybertron like they always fucking did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then you run into the same problem that you had in Batman as what happened in those 25 years.
I mean, we can talk about that. Well,
that's going to be my immediate question. As a fan, I'm going to be like, what happened in those 25 years?
But they can release video games and multiple stories to explain that if you want.
Yeah, the Matrix tried that.
The Animatrix was awesome. The Animatrix was my favorite Matrix.
I own the Animatrix and I played the video game. The problem is,
video game.
Enter the Matrix with Ghost and Miami. Yeah, I played both of them. The problem was, I was one of the only few who did, and I'm sitting in the movie with the second one going, yeah, well, see, this happened off camera, and then this happened in the Animatrix. So, I mean, I think people have learned their lesson. Who else tried to do it?
I mean, years have passed between the other Transformer movies as it is, and they didn't talk about that.
Not 25. I mean...
Well, no, but enough. I mean, like, the first movie, Sam just turned 16, and in the second movie, he's going to college. That's 3 or 4 years right there.
2.
And then you got...
18. He's graduating.
Yeah, 2 years, I'm sorry, 2 years. Then very start of college, third movie starts, he's been done with college for a while, so that's another 5 years right there. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I think we've all said our opinions on the films.
It's good for what they are.
Oscar-worthy films.
Yes.
Like a man named Oscar should have seen it. But other than that...
That was episode 3 of Flick Dicks.
Flick Dicks. We're just gonna blow Flick Dicks. I like that song.
Oh my gosh.
We're dicks to talk about flicks.
Yeah. How are you gonna spell dicks?
D-I-C-K-S.
Okay.
That's how it's spelled.
D-I-X. I mean,
well, no, because
just to be different.
No, we're detectives.
Oh. See, then I thought it would be D-E-C-T, period. That's the abbreviation for detective.
No, it's not. That's the abbreviation for detective, not the nickname for detective.
Right, but I don't think you're going to get away with writing dicks on YouTube.
Really? 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 Yeah, I'm going to get banned off YouTube for the word dick in the title.
I mean, if they're not watching this, then of course we...
Right. It's just for our... Somebody's going to find these tapes. He was really disturbed. He taped the television show that
no one watched.
It's like crazy.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye. What's episode 4 about?
Episode 4 is going to be about another amazing sequel that really holds up what the original movie stood for and nothing else. That's right, Star Wars.
Star Wars.